Welcome listeners to Enki, Tales from the Past. I am Nabu, son of the great King Marduk and Prince of Babylon. I am the first human king of the Babylonians, and as a human, I have been blessed to grow up among the Anunnaki and Igigi. Before we delve into the depths of our tale, I must urge you to support the mind behind this creation, Mário Portela. His dedication and passion have brought this audio masterpiece to life, and your encouragement fuels his creative spirit. And remember, the adventure doesn't end here. You can immerse yourself further by exploring his book, Enki the Beginning, Book 1, available on Amazon stores. So, dear listeners, let us embark on today's journey. Hope you enjoy this episode. This is Enki, Tales from the Past. This audio drama is authored, edited, and produced by Mário Portela. The sun beat down unrelentingly as Nanaya and I made our way through the sprawling complex surrounding the pyramids. The once grand temples and palaces now stood empty and barren, stripped of the advanced technologies and marvels crafted by the Anunnaki during their long reign here. It had been over 10 years since Ninki issued the decree, demanding all evidence of the Anunnaki presence be removed from Earth. 10 long years that my people, the humans, had tirelessly labored to dismantle and bury everything the Anunnaki had built. Everything they had created to control and dominate our kind. I glanced over at Nanaya, walking solemnly beside me, her face etched with sadness at the state of disrepair all around us. This had once been a center of learning and innovation for both Anunnaki and humans alike. Now, it was just a decaying relic of a bygone era.
It is hard to believe, my love, that soon there will be nothing left to indicate the Anunnaki were ever even here.
I squeezed her hand gently. I know. But this is necessary if humankind is ever to find its own destiny, free from outside interference. Nanaya nodded reluctantly. When Ninki had first decreed that the Anunnaki must remove all traces of their presence and technology from Earth, there had been much debate and disagreement among both the Anunnaki and the humans loyal to them. Many felt we still needed their guidance and wisdom to advance our civilization. But Ninki had been adamant. The time had come for humans to take control of their own fate. There would be no more Anunnaki intervention or direction over the course of our development. And so the long process of dismantling had begun. The Anunnaki scientific achievements and cultural artifacts were methodically destroyed, taken by the Igigi to the subterranean depths or buried in remote locations. The great temples and ziggurats were stripped of their technological wonders and turned into human settlements. Knowledge not deemed dangerous was transcribed onto clay tablets and scrolls, the rest eliminated. It had been a monumental undertaking, requiring tremendous resources and manpower, but now it was nearly complete. The Anunnaki presence on Earth had been erased almost in its entirety. Looking around at the vacant buildings and barren temples, I felt a profound sense of loss. So much knowledge and history, simply gone. It was difficult not to feel resentment towards Ninki, the Lady Danu, and the edict that had necessitated this erasure. Sensing my conflicted emotions, Nanaya gave my hand a supportive squeeze.
Change is never easy, my love. But just as day follows night, so too must one age give way to the next.
I nodded, reminding myself that while much had been lost, Humanity had also gained its freedom. We were no longer living in the shadow of the Anunnaki and their advanced civilization. Our destiny was now our own to shape.
Come, the next complex has been nearly cleared. We should continue the inspection.
Nanaya urged gently. We made our way solemnly through buildings that had once housed scientific and engineering workshops unrivaled in their sophistication. Complex machines, computer systems, and technology beyond anything humans could currently conceive of had been housed here. Now all of that was gone, leaving only dust and shadows behind. In one temple, I paused by a section of wall where there had once been an elaborate mural depicting the Anunnaki's arrival on Earth. Marduk himself had overseen the painting's creation, I had been told. Now there was nothing left but bare stone. I thought back to my childhood, growing up in these halls and workshops, constantly in awe of the Anunnaki's knowledge and abilities. To my young mind, they had seemed like giant gods. Even now, the magnitude of their accomplishments was humbling. Yet they too were merely visitors on this planet. Their time here had reached its end. We exited the temple and headed across a broad plaza towards the towering main pyramid. This structure had once housed complex machines capable of weather control, planetary energy manipulation, and quantum transportation. All dismantled now. It was empty, except for the main ark in the center chamber. Hidden inside a huge stone container, it would remain to allow the Agigi to keep their energy flowing at minimum requirements. It is still difficult for me to accept this loss of knowledge, so much that could have helped our people advance. I considered this. It was true that humanity was sacrificing much, but if we retained the Anunnaki's full technological and scientific prowess, would we ever develop those capacities for ourselves? Or would we simply become dependent on the Anunnaki achievements forever? Sometimes an easy path forward only leads into stagnation, I mused. True growth comes from facing challenges and finding our inner strength. Perhaps our destiny lies in discovering our own technological abilities in time. Nanaya smiled.
You are wise beyond your years, my husband. The humans chose well when they crowned you king.
I waved off the compliment. Though I had been raised among the Anunnaki as Marduk's own son, I had no illusions about my own limitations. We ascended the narrow steps of the pyramid, empty and barren of its former grandeur. At the top, I gazed out across the sweeping complex of buildings, temples, gardens, and living quarters that had once housed the Anunnaki and their entourage of loyal humans. All were now hollow shells, soon to be reclaimed by the encroaching desert sands. Humans settled here would keep guard of the stones and slowly forget of their past. Our longevity is so tiny compared to Anunnaki's lifespan. We will forget them quickly. It was humbling to realize that in a few short years these monumental structures might vanish entirely. No trace left of the Anunnaki presence, their knowledge, culture, and achievements. Future generations would inherit only the simple clay tablets and transcribed legends passed down through the ages. Around here they call themselves Egyptians and plan to stay around by the Nile. Would they one day view tales of the Anunnaki as mere myth and fantasy? Would the full truth of their presence here be lost? I shook my head, realizing the futility of that line of thought. The past was gone, beyond my power to change or control. I could only focus on guiding our people into the future now before us all. Nanaya slipped her arm through mine, reading my pensive mood.
Do not despair, my love. Though the Anunnaki departure leaves a void, it also grants us tremendous opportunity.
I turned to her questioningly. What opportunity? She swept her hand out, indicating the empty buildings and plazas surrounding us.
Why, the opportunity to define the course of our civilization ourselves. To set humanity's direction free from outside intervention. That is a precious gift, and we will never forget their teachings. We shall pass down their stories in the temples using our own words.
a small smile at her optimism. Nanaya was wise. However difficult the challenges ahead, she always found hope and opportunity where I saw only struggle. In that way, she was stronger than any Anunnaki or human, myself included. Wiser than any being I'd encountered in my life. I drew her close, gently kissing her forehead. You always renew my faith when doubt casts its shadow. Come, let us complete this task, so humanity may begin its future. The journey back to Babylon was long and arduous after completing the inspection of the dismantled Anunnaki complexes. The Anunnaki exodus from Earth was accelerating. Most had already departed to the floating city in the ocean. The rest would soon follow. Only Inanna and a few others remained to oversee the final dismantling efforts. As our caravan slowly made its way across the scorching desert, my thoughts kept returning to Enki and Marduk, stationed at the edges of the unknown world. They had been charged by Ninki with containing any remaining forces still loyal to Enlil, to prevent him from interfering with the evacuation plans. Ninki had provided them with an army of strange beast-like creatures to aid in this task, creatures not of this world. I shuddered to think what confrontation might be unfolding between the brothers Enki and Enlil in those remote lands. Enlil was fiercely proud. He would not take kindly to being forced into exile by Ninki's decree. His rage would be terrible to behold. And yet, if any could stand against that rage, it was Enki and Marduk. Their powers and abilities were legendary, and their own legions were brave beyond measure. Together with Ninki's mysterious soldiers, they formed a force that could hopefully overcome even Enlil's wrath. Still, knowing the bitter rivalry between the brothers, I worried this conflict could turn catastrophic. Enlil was cunning, and his reach still stretched far, even now as the Anunnaki exited Earth. If he managed to evade Enki and Marduk's forces, there was no telling what havoc he could wreak. Nanaya seemed to sense my disquiet as we rode side by side among the dunes. She gave me a reassuring smile.
Do not waste thoughts on what you cannot control, my love. Enki and Marduk will manage the situation. We must have faith.
I nodded, wishing I shared her confidence. You are right, of course, but Enlil will not surrender easily, if at all. I fear the brothers will unleash tremendous destruction upon each other. This is Enki, Tales from the Past. This audio drama is authored, edited, and produced by Mário Portela.